big cat. Welcome to my therapy. This ain't your ordinary world, it's extraordinary. See, I'm a high priestess lightworker, here to guide your way through the waves of life. We'll find a new path to embrace. Tarot, astrology, numerology in our hands. No weapon formed against you shall ever stand. We're winners, we never quit, we always keep on going. Quitters never win, but we're always growing. Hey there, big cat, let's chase the highest vibration. Together we'll create a new world, a brand new nation.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in! Come on! I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Today, Big Cat, we're going to be discussing the spiritual journey to release past trauma. The healing path is what we're on, darling dears. Your trauma affected your memory. Some of you barely remember it and you get it back in flashbacks or are triggered by certain movements in different places, darling dears. Whether it be music, words in another conversation, or how someone else carries themselves that activates your trauma. The person or people that caused the trauma, darling dears. To hear them tell it, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, trying to lessen the trauma they caused. And for some, it took some time for you to realize that was actually trauma that you experienced. So we're going to dive in and see what's going on, darling dears. Let's get the Chalice Well Springs water going. Drove all the way to Glastonbury in October 2020 for my youngest progeny's birthday and picked up a few tidbits while I was there. You know how it goes. The crystal shops are off the Chizaim. All right, let's press on at a hot trot. And then start with the Moonology cards. The end of a rough cycle approaches. I can't make it up, darling dears. This is a full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is about your status, it's about your ambitions, it's about what you can build for yourself, darling dears. The Capricorn energy is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is about structure. It's about the restrictions that was placed on you by this trauma. It's about you owning your responsibility, even if you was even if you did nothing in that situation, that is still participation, darling dears. It talks about the discipline it took for you to release yourself from your situation. The Saturn energy rules the number 8. The 8 is about giving and receiving. It's about you claiming back your power, standing in your authority, darling dears. Your birthday may be the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th. Your favorable numbers going forward is 2, 4, and 8. It also speaks about monetary matters, darling dears, because Capricorn rules money, the higher octave. Maybe you are in a leadership position, or you're about to step into something new, darling dears, but it's about releasing the trauma, because your trauma will affect every area and did affect every area of your life. A full moon is about you harvesting your intentions, because some of you have been working at yourself for some time. That shadow work isn't easy, it's not for the faint-hearted. But the Capricorn energy is the goat of land and sea, darling dears, greatest of all times. This is about how you overcame and the steps towards overcoming. Conclusions are within reach. I cannot make it up. And it's again a full moon eclipse, darling dears. And at a full moon eclipse, a lunar eclipse, darling, this is when you release what no longer serves you. It's like you putting all of those wicked ducks in a row and finally besting them by being the best version of yourself, by understanding the healing, the cut to the white meat, darling dears, facing it, accepting that it actually happened, and releasing it with love and light to the Most High, darling dears. We have a full moon, I believe it's in Gemini on the 26th of January. So maybe you're going to be doing some releasing ceremonies or rituals at that time. Now I've got to check just a second, darling dears. Right, I'm back. Did you miss me? Anyhow, the full moon in Gemini, which I just quoted, it was back in November, the 27th of November. The next full moon will be in Cancer at 4 degrees and 57 minutes in the cardinal sign of Cancer, darling dears. One of my favorite Moonology books, or Intel on the Moon, is by Yasmin Boland. And the full moon in Cancer, let's see what it just says. The full moon is especially good for Taurians, Cancerians, Virgos, Scorpio, Capricorns, and Pisceans, but it's more challenging for everyone else. The energy is dependent and possibly needy. The top 5 questions that you can ask yourself is, have I been insecure, clingy, no fun? Have I been coming at what I want sideways instead of tackling it head on? Have I been sulky, moody, brooding, or manipulative? Have I been secretive and possibly even a tad paranoid? Paranoia, good golly and gosh. Have I had enough family time or time with people who feel like family? The message is, feel sure of yourself. Find a balance between your need to achieve your need for quality time and your need for quality time at home. Forgive. Be grateful. All right. Okay, let's put this to one side as we carry on with this reading, darling dears. As we sip our mochas, because we ain't getting smoked. Why? Because my hairline comes first. Blood, bruh, or sister. Let's move on to a hot trot. Okay, get these cards out of the way. We're going to get a runestone. Wow, you got a whole throttle, darling dear. Okay, when you cast runestones, you read them from right to left. Your first one, lean in, bestie. Lean in. This is Swallow, represented by Sun energy in Tarot. It's represented by the number 16 and 19 as well as the letter S. This is about victory, darling dears, in your healing journey, your healing path. This is about you honoring what you've been through, darling dears, but not living amongst it, raising your spiritual vibration. The Sun energy is Big Cat Leo energy, which is the 5th house. So you could be healing issues around childhood trauma, because 5th house is about children, childhood trauma, relationship, dating, betrayals, lots of drama, arguments, fighting. All of that, darling dear, added up to the trauma that you have been carrying or have released or are releasing. This is going to bring a new abundance into your life, darling. There's full-on transformation. This is about you opening up the road for your self-esteem to come through with your willpower. Some of you are going to be using music in your healing journey, because the Sun energy is ruled by Apollo, and Apollo is the god of music, healing, divination, truth. This is about you getting your true spiritual backbone back, but it's not like it was before, darling dears. This is the all-purpose brand new prototype of your lineage kind of a backbone. This is the letter S. You also have what? Lean in, bestie. Lean in. This is Perthrow. Represented by the High Priestess in Tarot. This is about hidden things, darling. There's going within, examining, self-examination for self-improvement. Also releasing these secrets that you've had to carry, the trauma. It's in the upright. But it's using your intuitive side, your mysterious side, in order to uncover and uncloak what you need to release based on this trauma that you experienced. Once and for all. Many of you will be doing it at the full moon in Capricorn, which is on the, I believe it's the 26th of December. The High Priestess also speaks about awareness. Some of you are going to be releasing this trauma, and it's going to help with your trust issues, darling dears. Why? Because you'll be researching. The High Priestess researches everything. Moon energy covers what's covered up, uncovers what's covered up. Oh, this is Ophelia. This is represented by the World card. You're going to be releasing yourself to bondage, darling dear, to a karmic past that is not your future, because where you are right now is not your final destination, darling dears. This is the releasing of yourself from this situation. And in some cases, you're going to have to release yourself from your situation without actually getting an apology from the perpetrator of said trauma. Getting apologies that you never even received. Accepting them, darling dears. And allowing yourself to remove your energies, call back all of your energies from situations that are no longer serve you. Let it be unfinished business for air, darling dears. This is about raising your vibration, recognizing that it's happened, and gathering the tools that you need to heal you, to break you free from this circumstance and situation. Okay. We've got S, O, and P. That sounds sop. Who's a sop? Let's press on at a hot trot and get your ancestral message. I'm going to use the African Goddess Rising. Oracle ancestral message on your healing journey. If you see me bobbing around, it's because I'm on my call board. Because I do so many readings per day that I'm sedentary, and it's not good for the body to be sedentary for long periods of time. Our temple is not built to be stand still, darling. It's got to keep it on the moves. Otherwise, it'll seize up. Use it before you lose it, darling dears. Yeah, it's your harvest season, darling dears. And that's what happens at a full moon, harvest season. Of all your intentions, the 4 and the 3 is a 7. 7 is a highly spiritual number. This is a spiritual journey to release the trauma that has bound you. This is the season where you start winning through your actions, never through your words. Law number 9 of the 48 laws of power. It's also law number 20, where you keep your independence. It's also the season where law number 2 of the 48 laws of power. Not every friend that presents as a friend is a friend, darling dear. Harvesting your intentions. This is a happy feeling, as in having raised your vibration. You've got the dull yellow. Yeah, there's going to be envy, bitterness, and hate, because people see you move in a different way. Some of them don't even see it. Why you've turned Casper on them. Not every situation deserves closure from you, darling dears. It happened. You deal with your trauma. You leave that situation alone. Leave them to their karma. This is also a karma rune. Yeah. To get over it, you have to surrender to the process, darling dears. It will open up new beginnings for you. When we see archways, it's new things, new windows, new ideas that are being shown to you, darling dears, and will continue to be shown to you. This is about you anchoring yourself in your spirituality in order to gain true healing. We've got a 44 master number, darling dears. 44 is what? A master healer. Yes, it is. Using you're gonna use or have used integrity as your foundation in your Geiger counter. You're manifesting a more leadership role, but the leadership role first and foremost is in your life, darling dears. Cutting away what no longer serves you with love and light, claiming back your energy from all people, places and things. Cutting off permission for people to drain your energy, darling dears, and keep you stuck in that hamster wheel of the rinse and repeat of the traumatic cycle. Many of you are getting, as I said, get flashbacks. Yes, could have been years, but you get flashbacks. It's about healing it, darling dears. Not living and focusing on that energy, because what you focus on will grow. Live and heal that energy. You are a master healer. Okay. Okay, let's see what's on the base of the deck. Opening up to pleasure. Opening your arms to the joys of the universe. And it's on another master number, darling. It is 11. This is about you tapping into your intuitive side. You are the creator, the building blocks, or even the stone the builder refused, darling dears. This is about you allowing spirit to guide you. Listening to that inner voice, because it will show you the path of your healing. The purple is about handling it with dignity and wisdom, darling dears. As I said, releasing trauma is not for the faint-hearted. And I'm gifting you with the tools of even to do it without having therapy. Although I do advise therapy for those that feel they need it, or they need someone to be a co-pilot as they go on their healing journey. All right, let's get a deck. Oh, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. If you don't heal this trauma, it's going to affect your mental and physical health. It's going to continue to affect your finances, your stability in relationships, tangible things, darling dears. Take this advice. Well, I can't make you, because we all have free will and free choice, but you have to be proactive on your own healing journey. And nothing happens before time. Before its time. This is law number 35 of the 48 laws of power. I just heard the number 3. And we're going to be doing this 3 times. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. What was the root of the trauma? What was the root of the trauma? Thank you. Yeah. Lots of passive aggressive, lots of mental energy, darling dears. This is about feeling isolated, always feeling alone in situations. This is lots of words that put you down, put you in your place, darling dears. The root of all. Some people's traumas happened at night time, darling dears, where they were told to keep secrets that was not theirs to keep. Some of people's trauma, some of the root of your trauma, what actually happened to you, led you to feeling like you wanted to unalive yourself. Affected your self-worth, your willpower, your ability to think properly. Affected your memory, darling dears, because this is being pliable. in the face of abusers, darling dears. Those blood pressure causing people. The trauma gave you a lot of anxiety. You were feeling depressed. It affected your sleeping. It was like you was in a constant mode of mourning, darling dears, not knowing exactly how to heal thyself because the people around you were being passive aggressive. As I said, in many cases they lessened the amount of trauma that they caused in the situation. Yeah, toxic to the core. You was like Daniel in the lion's den. Could be female energy that is the root of your trauma, darling dears. Siblings, a parent, a cousin, or even a lover for some. How did this trauma affect your emotions? Got 3 of Pentacles. Queen of Swords, yeah. How it affects your emotions, darling, is you don't give out emotions easily. You are more wiser for it. Queen of Swords, this is learning from the experiences that you've had in the past. The people that you worked with, that you accepted close to you, darling dears. People may see you as cold-hearted, but you are not the Queen of Swords, right? Yeah, you have a soft side, but not everybody's allowed to see it now. This is you interviewing all that approaches your throne going forward. You haven't quite cut yourself off from society, but you are looking at the spiritual side of things, because the Queen of Swords energy is a spiritual energy as well. You're reading energies. You're researching. Swords is about getting information, communication, before you allow anyone to get close enough to chip away at you again. This is also part of healing from your trauma. It's affected your emotions, but it's also showed you how to handle the triggers. Even if you're not being triggered by the same people or person or group or whatever the thing is, you know how to handle it in the wisest of ways, darling. There's clarity. This is calling for spiritual healing, darling dear. You needed the spiritual help, your ancestral assistance, right? So you'd be in a situation to harvest, right? As the ending of this cycle is approaching, because you have the tools. And you understand that wisdom is for the wise. Proverbs 13, 20, you're learning to walk with the wise. Not freely giving up your situation to groups of people. You don't feel as though you have to be amongst people to be validated, but you're also guarding your emotions against triggeration. This is about you coming from a non-proactive way in your life, darling, this because you felt you needed this energy, this person, place, or thing in the past, but you didn't need them. Everything is a lesson on this Malkuth. A learning curve, darling, this. And no one learns anything better than the Queen or King of Swords. Base of the deck, yeah. Your emotions, darling, this. Your emotions are very important to you. You've learned to cap that shiznai. Not everybody deserves to be able to trigger your emotions. You've also learned, because when we see 2 queens on the table in juxtaposed, darling, it speaks about moving away from the spirit of gossip, darling dear. You don't want to be around groups of people that gossip about others, or a person that gossips about others. Because you know, Queen of Swords, you'll be the next one on the agenda. You're learning to guard your emotions as well as things that you say to other people. It's like you're not giving anybody any ammunition to try and trigger you or to cross you again, darling. This is all part of the healing journey. Not that you are being passive. You're obstreperous, noisy and difficult to handle, darling dears, and not in a rude way. You speak up for yourself, Queen of Swords, because you know that you're emotions and feelings are important. But it's also about the maturation, soul's energy of your emotions and feelings. You're not coming from that wounded child. Dealing with your triggers and your emotions, darling dears. That's what you're doing. Is there any obstacles to healing? Any challenges that may hinder this healing process? The 10th cup, darling dears. Those that weren't aligned, this is the person, place, or thing. And again, it's about your emotions, darling dears. In the reverse also speaks about past energy. The challenge and the obstacle is to really once and for all put down that situation with Queen of Swords energy, realizing that your emotions are real. The challenge is not going back to places that broke you, darling dears. You'll get no healing there. It's toxic, and toxic can be extremely tempting, especially if you want to be complacent. But this is the season, darling dears, with this what? Full moon in Capricorn. Of healing. Matter of fact, we're about to go through Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, starting on the 12th or 13th of December. Wherever you are on this Malkuth, just saw 1010 on the counter. You're going to be letting go, darling dears. Moving away from situation. This is you once and for all. Breaking away, breaking up with these obstacles of people that had your emotions. It could be family situations, a love situation, may even be your progeny, a child. But it's removing yourself from the situation without any guilt. The obstacle is realizing that it was a lesson for you to learn, not for something for you to languish in. Because you will be reenacting your traumas. Not necessarily with these people, but with different people, but the same circumstances will continue to perpetuate if you allow it. The obstacle is for you to let go of your emotional triggers. Face them, darling dear. Queen of Swords style. What self-care practices will be beneficial to healing this trauma? What self-care practices? Left 4 of Wands. Yeah. Some of you are going to have to actually actively seek some kind of therapy, a therapist, a counsellor. But you also have to understand this trauma is yours and yours alone to heal. There's no one else that can go on this journey with you. This will facilitate your healing because it's for you to heal, darling dears. Not for you to go out there and try and heal others, explain to them what they did, blah, blah, blah. No. This is a journey for you to be on solo dolo like the boys or girls on the pole. Because until you heal that, all these things that was going wrong, all these obstacles that have been on you like gang signs, darling dears, they're not going to be released. You'll be attracting other unhealed people into your life. Realizing that it's a solo journey is the first step to facilitate your healing, darling dears. How you heal is how you heal. Your intuition and your discernment will guide you to it. Always does, darling dears. Call in your ancestral team. They're your security, and they cannot help you unless you ask. Where is your altar? This is my altar. I have my candle. I have food. I have water as an offering. I work here. I give healing here. I study here. Everything is done at this desk. Well, nearly everything. because I do have to go out and buy a lace front every now and then. But anyway, I digress. But as I was saying, darling, is your healing. It's a internal job. It's a solo job, but it's the best job you could ever take on, because you have spiritual ascension on the tableau, darling dears. This is a buffing up of your intuition and your discernment. This is about you facing those secret traumas within, darling dears. Some of you couldn't even speak your traumas out. Some didn't even know they were traumas. Because when it happened, it wasn't the time where counseling and narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, there wasn't healing out there back in the day, but there is now. And for many, you'll be able to do this closure without getting any apology. Why? Because you called judgment on it, darling. You claim back your energies. Cut off anyone that is what? Being an energy vampire, siphoning your energies. And it could be in the form of gossip, subterfuge, and bull swanky. Okay, let's move on. What needs to be released or let go to actually continue to facilitate this healing? Yeah, situations that don't serve you, darling dears. People that you know to be mean and jealous to others. Who do you think's next on the roster, darling dears? Hang with 4 bottom feeders. Who's going to be number 5? Release the idea that you can't make solid choices for yourself, the right choices for yourself. Release yourself from, this could be feminine energy, but you know gender is fluid. This is representative of a mother or father. It's also representative of a husband or wife, darling dears. Release that energy once and for all. Yeah. Because when you let go of these tangible things, it could also be material things, darling dears. But this is current energy. Always pay attention to where the eyes are, darling dears. This is the hair, and we know the hair fell asleep. You're a tortoise cat. You're meant to go the distance. You have the endurance. Realizing that you're strong, darling dears. Where others see you as weak, this is where you will find your strengths, Queen of Pentacles or King, because you know gender is fluid. Knowing that there's light at the ending of the tunnel, darling dears, that you will come out victorious and better for it, because you've learned these lessons. And you'll be in a position, a leadership role, darling dears, to teach others, give others, facilitate others with the tools of their healing journey, healing from their trauma. You was meant to stand out, darling dears. Not for your trauma, but for your healing, your spiritual healing journey. Somebody's also going to be taking their victory and their healing on the road. I see somebody doing talk shows, maybe possibly even writing books, but this is building an empire off your healing, darling dears. I'm talking like somebody becoming like a cult-like figure, but not in a killation way, darling dears. Being admired, people listening to your words. When somebody overcomes trauma, darling dears, you see it in their deportment, you hear it in their voice, but you see the lightness of their soul in their eyes. Present energy. Did you hear the wind kick up just then in the trees? Listen, Spirit is here with us, darling. Is there any guidance from Spirit or your higher self to offer moving forward? No. You win, darling dears. You win with grace, but this is about you plan, plotting, and strategizing. King of Pentacles in the upright is a mental healing, a spiritual healing, darling dears, and creating a new chapter for yourself. Your higher self is telling you that you will make it. You will make it past that finish line. But you have to be determined. You have to be focused. And that means turning over every trauma that you have, facing them head on, and healing that inner child wound, that cut to the white meat. Only you can do this, darling dears. To invite this new beginning, this fresh start. You're also being advised that people from the past will be turning up as you continue to ascend in your healing journey, this spiritual journey, to break away from these traumatic cycles. When they come back, you've got to meet them with love and light, darling dear. 2 of these and 1 of those. Don't allow the past back in. Queen of Swords in the reverse now. Don't. You have new knowledge. And as I said, people from the past know your triggers. But you don't handle them in the same way. And you don't have to be in that energy anymore. It doesn't matter who it is. And you're not allowing them back because you're afraid. You fear nothing. The Queen of Swords in reverse is fearless. You fear less. You love more. Love of thyself, the Most High. Yeah. Don't allow any past energy back in, darling dears. Yeah. It will come to what? Hoodwink you, lie to you, use you emotionally. No, look, all the queens coming back in the reverse, darling. Look! Deception indicated. Leave the past where it is, person, place, or thing. Your higher self wants you to know this. You are more than a conqueror, and you will come out, or have come out, stronger than before in the persona you was meant to have and adopt during your time on this Malkuth, darling dears. This is coming back with blessings. But you got to be focused. Yeah. Leave the crowd behind, darling dears. It may be a crowd of people, but leave them where they are. You can't heal them, as you saw from the 2 of Pentacles that came out in the upright for you. You're not here to heal anyone else's trauma. You're here for yourself. And if you go backwards, you're re-traumatizing yourself. You're basically telling spirit to F off and do one. When you're being gifted with the keys to your kingdom, the end of a tough cycle is approaching for you, darling dears. Don't bring that toughness back in. Remember the cut to the white meat. Remember how it made you feel. Remember what you had to do and are doing and will continue to do to keep yourself out of harm's way from the traumas that was caused on you in the past. Nothing more. Look, the deck is closing itself. Heal yourself from the wicked, darling dears. This is not the time for confusion. And if you keep these secrets to yourself, these traumas to yourself, you will still remain in that lack energy. This is what your higher self wants you to know. How will the healing journey transform a big cat? How? It will transform you if you hold your vision, darling dears. When the cards are ready to be tricky, this is like a to me it looks like a 3rd quarter moon. It's about release and let go. How it's going to transform you is because you'll understand how to release things that are not for you. You'll be able to see things that come on your path in life, darling dears, and realize that it's not your portion. It's not for you to get involved with. This is not about you sitting on the fence for the rest of your life. No, it's not. But you will be able to recognize the unhealed who are in what? Or should I say on devil time, demonic time, darling dears. Yeah. Surrender to the divine, the Most High. And it's a full moon harvest season for you, darling dears. The cards are all lining up. face that trauma, release that trauma. And remember, it's not your portion to carry. Divine has so many gifts to give you on this path, but you have to what? Continue. When you're tired, continue. When you're happy, continue. When you're sad, continue. Because you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. This is about your well-being, darling dears. On that note, I drops me mic. Heal, big cat, heal. It's lovely in the healing circle. Until we meet again. Oh, what do I say? Don't get smoked and don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat, cat. Heal, big cat, heal.
Hey, big cat, welcome to my therapy. This ain't your ordinary world, it's extraordinary. See, I'm a high priestess lightworker, here to guide your way through the waves of life. We'll find a new path to embrace. Tarot, astrology, numerology in our hands. No weapon formed against you shall ever stand. We're winners, we never quit, we always keep on going. Quitters never win, but we're always growing. Hey there, big cat, let's chase the highest vibration. Together we'll create a new world, a brand new nation.